Hello, first grade. Today we're talking about warm and cool colors and using them in a sunset. This is also called a landscape. Even though there's no land, it is a view that we can see out of a window or across the land. So we have our ocean and we have the sun, either setting or rising, depending on what you want to make. Mine is peeking up out of the water, and I have my colors kind of shooting out from the sun. A couple things that are important to see in here that we're going to review. We are going to be talking about warm and cool colors. Our warm and cool colors will be used for the sun because it's hot and warm. And our cool colors are going to be used for the ocean. We already talked about warm and cool colors back when we did our polka dot leaves. And I am really excited to use that knowledge to make this landscape. We're also going to talk about shapes and lines. We already talked about shapes and lines. Remember those line owls we made where we used shapes to build it and lines across the belly? Well, we're using all of those things we learned in one of our last lessons for the school year, a sunset or sunrise. I'm going to put my teacher example right off to the side, and you might be noticing these two piles of markers. This pile of markers, let me move this out of the way so you can see it a little bit better. These are my cool colors. These are my ocean colors, my blue, purple, and green. I have a couple different shades of them because I have a lot of markers. And then over here, I have my warm colors, my pink and red and yellow and orange. These are the ones that represent fire and the sun. So I know that those are more warm. Those are going to help me with coloring the sun. These are going to help me with the ocean. All right, so let's first draw and then we'll use those warm and cool colors after. You're going to need a pencil. This pencil is going to help us draw everything first. Our markers are going to outline, and then we're going to use crayons to color inside the lines. Remember how we talked about those lines that we used way back in the year for our owl bellies? We're going to use similar ones. We're going to try 3 different wave lines. When we're thinking about the ocean, we think of waves. So our first line is going to go on the very, very bottom of your paper, and we're going to make a wave with a half circle and a scoop, kind of like we're drawing the letter C a lot. Scoop, just like we're drawing that wave. My line goes up and it stops at the very top, almost like I'm going to go down. I go back and make another. Let's make one of those wave lines. Right on top, to show that it's farther away, is my wiggle line. Remember this wiggle line? Like it's doing a roller coaster. And then the last line is pretty a classic wave line. Goes up and then back down. Up and then back down. I've got my 3 wave lines, and I'm almost at the very middle of my paper. If you'd like to go back and add bubbles in the shape of a circle, you can go and do that. I like adding bubbles. It helps me realize that this is the ocean. Now let's talk about this sun. The sun, we're not going to draw a circle like a sun normally would be because this sun is setting, so we only see half of it. So almost like a rainbow, we're going to make a half circle line coming out of the ocean or going into the ocean, just like that sun is setting. I put my pencil on one side of my waves and I go all the way up and all the way back down, like a giant half circle. And then I actually make 2 more to kind of make it look like how the brightest part of the sun is already in the water and the outside is peeking out still. My next line that I'm going to draw are the rays of sunshine. These lines go straight out from the sun and they touch the side of my paper. So we see all of that sunshine. In my teacher example, I added triangles. You can add triangles. If you like those lines, we can also make those wavy lines. Wavy lines to really make it look like all of the light from the sun is shining out of it as it goes into the ocean. All right, so now I used my pencil to draw my entire landscape and my sunset. I gotta put my pencil to the side, and now let's get those markers out. I'm using markers to outline today, and when it comes to my warm colored markers, you can outline any part of the sun that you would like. I did a lot of oranges, reds, and yellows. I also have pink in here. If you'd like to use pink, you can. First, let's outline with the warm colors the sun. And then when we outline, we do not color in. All we're doing is making all these lines nice and bold. All right, so I outlined all of my sun and all those rays using my warm colors. I tried to use as many as I could. I didn't make them in any certain pattern. Now, let's talk about the waves. Our cool colors are blue, purple, and green. The reason I didn't use green on this teacher example is because I usually don't go swimming in green water. Normally it means something gross is in there. So if you'd like to use green, you can. I'm going to choose to stick with my blue and purple cool colors to go on the ocean. Go ahead, take your cool colors and outline the ocean. All right, so I outlined everything in a marker. Outlining goes pretty quick because you're not coloring in. Now it's time to get those crayons out, and we're gonna color inside the lines. I'm gonna do this quick, but first grade, you guys know to take your time, fill in everything so there's no white spots showing. All right, first grade, I am done coloring, I outlined, and I drew a sunset or sunrise. I can't wait to see yours on Seesaw. Don't forget to post a picture of it when you are done, and happy creating.